Like it was built to break off the handle. How'd we get to this place? We're leaving everything behind for new and exciting feelings.
Hello. Oh dear. Sorry, not sorry about the 5 million pings in Discord. I started getting bored towards the end, just ping everybody for no reason whatsoever. Hello, Farming Boy, FS for Life, Alex, Eddie, Simman15, and Llama King. How are we all today? That was really loud. How are we all today? Hope we're all doing good. Just realized that with OBS I don't need to worry about, hey, how long is the latency between me hitting the go live button and actually being live? I'm just hoping that the frame rate issues that I used to have with OBS are gone. They do seem to be, which is nice. Did I harvest field 29? I harvested 2 fields, did I not? Was it field 23 was the other field I harvested? What was the fog? There's no foghorn. Was it field 23? Ah! It's already been... Ah! The thumbnail has the baler, yet there is no baling going to happen. I feel like I've cheated people who want baling today. Oh, actually, I tell potentially a lie. I potentially have incorrectness in my face. Because... No, these aren't fully grown yet. I mean, I don't want to have a full stream of just collecting bales. What's the weather forecast like? Rain. That's not ideal. I guess we're gonna have like a full stream of collecting bales because the weather forecast sucks. Did I buy a bale fork? I don't want to do bales with a pallet fork. I'm fine, like... I'm fine if the bale fork's at the shop, because... There it is. It is at the shop. Hashtag clickbaited. Hashtag accidentally did an oopsie. Now, next question is, where the hell did I leave the truck? Because it should be... Oh, the truck is at field 20 or 31. I'm gonna just break the rules real quick, because it's a bloomin' bale spike. You get somebody to, like... Did Lone fail testing? Your guess is as good as mine, Llama King. I've not spoken to Oxy today, so... I know as much as you do. I don't generally, just for your guys' reference, I don't generally talk to Oxy outside of streams. Like, he'll sometimes message, well, it's usually him, he'll sometimes message me because I don't want to be that guy who's just incessantly messaging him. And be like, hey Dave, would you be okay with this? You know, do you want this map or something? Come on, do the... I mean, that works. How am I feeling today? I'm feeling good today. I figured out what caused the issue that I had yesterday. So, yesterday, obviously I didn't stream. The in-game sounds are too high, hang on. Yesterday, obviously, I didn't stream because... quite simply, I just had... My stomach was in a knot. And, it wasn't the typical upset stomach that I had, but it was an upset stomach. And I wasn't entirely sure what was causing it until last night, when I had literally a square of Hershey's chocolate from America. I have two observations to make there. One, America, your chocolate sucks. Oh my god, it's bad. And two, it turns out that my stomach gets really angry when I have too much sugar, which is interesting to say the least. Let's stack up the square bales, and then because these are going to be sold straight off. The big squares, or the bigger squares, are going to be sold straight off. I have no need for these bios. I still look lovely in 240p. I look like a bald fat man. It failed testing. All fixed and sent back. Sweet. That means it's hopefully going to get put on the expedited test list. Because usually failures get put on like a different test list, especially if it's some small fails. Which Oxy usually is, depending on what mood Giant's testing is in on any given day. And hopefully it'll be good to go in the next week or two. How long is the test list itself at the moment? How long is the wait? At least I know no concentrated sugar. No concentrated sugar and no excessive amounts of greasy foods. Because they both give me upset stomachs in opposite ways. But I still have like a quite large bar of Hershey's. 12 work days, so that's 2.5 weeks. 168 meters. So you're looking at most. Let's make it 15 work days because MFJB said 14. You're looking at most 3 weeks until it's tested again. I would be. I'm not going to say confident, but I'll say reasonably. Well, so reasonably confident that it won't actually take that long. Because it gets to a certain point in testing where it's basically just, can you fix this one tiny thing and then we'll pass it. So I'd say maybe like 3 weeks max. There's that one grass bale. I can go into the 2-cell pile actually, because I have no need for a singular grass bale. $160 in the list. That's quite a lot of mods. The platinum testing is seemingly allowing the thing to get out of hand. Yes, Hershey can't. I know, Sim Man. That's how I knew that sugar was the issue. Until I tried legit American Hershey's from, I'm gonna guess Miami was where she got it. Yeah. Holy cow, America, your chocolate sucks. It's like 90% sugar, 10% it tastes vaguely of chocolate. Some good maps on that front weights. Yeah, I should have a look at those maps, because I kind of am wanting to get a third map on the go. Potentially to replace Oakfield, actually. There are mod lists for maps, one for other mods. Today, 2 maps released, but we're never in the list. I don't know, quite honestly. Like, I'm more than happy to say I don't know. when I don't know something. I'm not going to make a guess. Also, Americans, I apologize if you're somehow offended by me saying your chocolate sucks, but it compared to what I'm used to, it really does. American chocolate's terrible. Well, compared to like Irish and English chocolate, and kind of on the gold standard for me is the Milkas from, I think it's Aldi. You can get them. They're delicious. Like, European chocolate is so wonderfully sweet, but mainly because of the milk. Not because they've just loaded it up with all of the sugar in the world. Milka chocolate is best. Milka chocolate is, oh my god, so good. That's how Europe unites. It's just like Milka chocolate. Yes, please. Take a look at oh, is growers out? Is growers farm out? Because I don't talk to MJ as such. And I'm not that kind of guy who's gonna go to somebody and ask for a map. The maps that were released today weren't testing yesterday. Have I ever had German chocolate? Yes, actually, I have. In Germany. If you get a Milka bar, it's gone in less than 5 minutes. Yeah. Milka bars are too nice. It's the creaminess makes... Oh, Galaxy is also good. Like, Galaxy's the chocolatey kind of creamy, and Milka's just creamy because they've just loaded it with milk. Probably condensed milk, for judging by the sweetness, but milk nonetheless. Today's topic of conversation that's food related is chocolate. Also, America has hilarious like standards for what counts as a giant bar of chocolate, because the giant Hershey's that I have is 200 grams, just under, and I'm just kind of sat here like, well, Toblerone have a kilo, Cadbury's occasionally, not always, but occasionally bring out a kilo, and their big bars are I think 250 grams, and Cadbury's just call their big bars, or sharing bars. Who shares chocolate? I don't know. And then Hershey's just like, giant! No, it's big, but it's not gigantic. It's not, like, notably huge. It's been sent to Giants, but he thinks it'll fail. If it's going through for the first time, it probably will. That's just my generic stance on maps at this point. If it's going through Giants testing for the first time, it's probably gonna fail because there's a lot of moving parts in maps that you just can't test. There's a ton of moving parts in any given map that I can test. We'll say Lone Oak for weeks, and it can be sent off to Giants, or I can test Lone Oak in every tiny detail for weeks, and it can be sent off to Giants and still fail because material errors, usually. Yes, it's giant 2 foot long chocolate bars. Don't Toblerone do, like, for Christmas, the meter-long Toblerone that's, like, 2 kilos? I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do, like, a meter-long Toblerone. Just trying to keep me updated. Yeah, I'm not complaining, Maddie. I'm just kind of giving my opinion on pass or fail myself. And, the logic behind it. Because I know some people get really, or I'm not gonna say do get really offended, but can get really offended by me saying if it's going through for the, Giants testing for the first time, it's gonna fail. They think I'm, crapping on the map and being mean to whoever made it, when in reality I'm just like, there's so much stuff that can't be tested outside of Giants that it's actually more likely than not than a map will fail on its first pass through because of all the stuff that can't be tested. Like, mods are a bit more likely to go through, but again, they have materials which causes issues. You've messaged loads, fair enough. I want to, at some point, take like 20 minutes to an hour. Amazon sells 4.5 kilos of that's excessive Toblerone. I like Toblerone, well, I like some Toblerones, but that is excessive amounts of Toblerone. Also, I've broken the corn. Which, is that grown? Is that fully grown, or is that, like, not quite yet fully grown? Not quite yet fully grown, but it looks fully grown. So that's probably silageable. Which, if I was doing, corn pit silage, I'd totally run into that right now, the forage harvester, but I'm not. Hey, William Blair. How's it going today, dude? So I've been, you guys know that it's almost a meme. Sim keeps making fun of me for it. For the near constant I'm tidying my room thing. Or I need to tidy my room thing. I've been keeping my room tidy, and I think it was over the weekend I got bored and just tidied off my desk. And I'm very slowly reaching a level of actual organization in here, and it's kind of scary because I know where things are, and that's unusual for me. Usually I've got to go looking. I also have a disposable plastic cup for my my water, which I've started drinking again. Which is definitely a good thing, because I've been drinking far too much Pepsi. I've been drinking far too much fizzy drinks. So I've got a bottle of water set down beside me, a glass of water on the table, or a cup. What do I call it a glass? A plastic glass? Plastic cup? Not sure what to class it as, but I've got that. Liam, hello! How's it going, dude? Do I have anything that could act as... I'm trying to figure out a way to clear this field of the small square bales. Because I have nothing that can deal with them. And I reckon if I shove them out of the field, they might disappear when it rains, hopefully. I've just realized I'm gonna have to stack the rounds twice. Nuts. Gotta make corned beef hash. Very nice. Pig's milk is 300 grams. Almond, caramel, and chocolate. That sounds delicious, actually. Ooh. That sounds really nice. Can you buy Milka bars on Amazon? No, don't answer that, because if you say yes, I will end up just setting some weird order for like 1,000 Milkas a week. I will just balloon if Amazon sells Milkas and I can get them delivered. That's on their official website. Well, that's good. Don't tell me if you can buy on there as well, because, like, again, the issue where I just order an insane amount of chocolate would happen. By the way, Yanis, or I guess everybody, who here has heard of NerdCubed's book, which the title I am not going to say because, I'm still officially PG on this channel. Just. Because the reason I asked that is my name is in it. My real name is in that book. Because I backed it on Unbound. And I have the ebook version. I have a digital version. You were shocked when you saw this video? Well, with all the books, where he was doing this. I haven't watched that video. But yeah, I've legit got my name in it, and I got the email today that it's being dispatched to me. I couldn't afford. It kind of annoys me. I couldn't afford the signed version, which now looking at it, I would have been really cool. But if ever I meet him up, like, this channel's always been PG, Hunter. I see some stuff that some people think isn't PG, but to my mind and the way Irish PG works is PG. Like the word crap. In Ireland, it just means bad. Yeah, it also has the other meaning, but it's not particularly seen as being vulgar. Then again, Ireland is name of the book is Yeah. That's why I'm not saying it, Yanis. You know, the sentiment is there, but I don't want to say. I know that at some of the bookshops he's doing signings in this week, they actually had to censor the title of the book. Unlike their posters, because of what is in the title of the book. But they've, like, when he's doing signings, they've got literally hundreds on display. So just imagine going into a bookshop and being surrounded by by that book. I've really read of it, by the way, and it's really good. I've obviously not got my physical copy yet, and that's what I'm probably going to read, because it'll be some nice, light bedtime reading for me. But I read a bit of the ebook, and there are some really good laughs in there, and right at the very start, something that brought a tear to my eye. You ever go to the library so that you can ask the oldest librarian there for it? Oh my god, Mexican. You're crazy, dude. But if you get it from a library, here's the thing: if you get it from a library, it's going to be the nuts, the blue spined edition. My copy is going to have bright yellow spine. This is something that was revealed on Twitter. Is the like the publicly available books, the ones that are going to shops, have blue spines on the hardback. The ones that are going to backers from Unbound actually have a different spine entirely. It's bright yellow. This is pure milk. Oh my god. All you need for the best hot chocolate in the world is a grater and a 300-gram Milka bar. Flip the Bale trick games have begun. I mean, it's me, and it's something that has weird physics. So, are you in any way surprised that I've managed to flip it once already, and I'll probably do it again quite soon? Where's my phone? Put my phone somewhere, I can't remember where it is. Also, I just realized, I'm just looking at OBS here. There is a very bright spot just there in the very corner of the webcam. You pre-ordered did you pre-order from Unbound, Matty? Because mine got dispatched today, so I'm hoping to have it by the end of the week. I don't know where I'm gonna... Oh, hang on, there's a spot on my bookshelf there. No, Amazon... Oh, dude! You're gonna get the blue spine! I went with Unbound because I, like, really want a book about video games. That said, I do need to finish the book that I started reading in November of last year about the Roman Empire. Oh, bugger. Right, now the Unflip the Bale truck games have begun. Also, I'm not supposed to tab. Right. Hey, pa. Now the Unflip... Oh. That was really dumb of me. I mean, the best option is to bring the deer. Because I don't have anything better than that as an option. How am I? I'm doing good, Strike Snipe. How are you? How you doing? I didn't sleep well last night, but I'm oddly not tired. Like, I woke up, I went to bed at like 4-ish. Woke up at like 8, but I didn't get to sleep until like 6. I woke up at like 8-ish. Like did some stuff downstairs. And came back up, lay down for a few hours. Got back up at like 10, 11 o'clock. Quite good since. Tow bar mod is broken, uninstalled ASAP, it breaks hard workers. Luckily, that's a mod I didn't install, because I don't trust tow bar mods. I never have. They, I've always found the tow bar mods are a bit dodgy. You're on a 3-hour shift. You had to, and I need to wait for Restream chat to find the message. Restream? Could you please do the thing? Do paperwork earlier. Oh dear. Fun times. Paperwork was always fun. That's actually why I've got my laptop open down there. I've been working on some paperwork myself for the science channel. Actually working on a script, which I've done nothing today. 3 hours sleep. Ah, that makes a bit more sense. The Deutz Torpedo, corrupt save games and deletes. Ah, fun times. That's a fun Courseplay bug to experience. Does anyone have an issue with fast ring with dev console and cheats enabled? What do you mean by have an issue? Dollar. Because like, there's about 7 different issues I could think that you might have. You wish you had a 3-hour shift. I'm sorry. Oh, storm is over. Just random rain showers left. Nice. You can no longer run fast. You should be able to, Dowler. That is literally a default function of cheat mode. It's right, by the way, here's a fun thing. If you noticed when I was in Germany, I know we're going back almost a year now, but I remember this distinctly. The reason that you never saw anybody running in those streams was because the cheat mode was actually enabled and Super Run was on. And you've seen from multiplayer and me using third-person mod what happens when Super Run is on to the animations. But oh nuts! You know, I really think that's not helped. Actually, it might have. This could result in a truck going flying, but I'm gonna try something here. Is the trigger good enough here? See, strike snipe. Are you pressing? Yeah, you gotta like activate run. Call the tow truck. I'm not calling a tow truck. I can unflip this. I can totally fix this. It might take a few minutes, but I can totally fix this. See? Fixed it. Now I'm just back into square one, which is actually a good thing, seeing as I've got the tractor here. Now I've got to free the tractor because I kind of got that a bit stuck. See, look, it's all fine. It's all under control. I just need to get out of this fieldy area and unflip the truck the rest of the way. See, look. No space trucks. Just perfection. Also, I'll load the tractor onto the back of the truck on the way back, because I'm feeling particularly lazy. Also, I didn't need to go to the Bale sell point because Oxy put the bar. Dang it! I'm making this more complicated than it needed to be. Network isn't happy with Twitch. Fair enough, Giannis. There's seemingly nobody on Twitch, so I don't think it matters all that much that you're not on Twitch. For some reason, it worked up until yesterday and you got to change the thing. Possibly the game has changed some settings on you. That is a thing that can happen occasionally. Did I just... Why is there one Bale? Oh, you're not a mod on Twitch. I thought you were a mod on Twitch. Hang on. How do the thing? There we go, now you're a mod on Twitch. Mods get mod privilege a lot faster. You should have been, just in case. And that was my screw up that you weren't. Hey, local cheats! Come on. Punt you into somewhere that you will sell, please. Hey. I don't see how a Windows update could screw you over, but it's possible. Or work. Oh yeah, because Twitch is so very busy all the time, Yanis. It's more of a just-in-case thing. I think I've got automod set up on Twitch as well, so there shouldn't be a case where you're actually needed. There we go. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how a Windows update could screw you over. I mean, it could have reset something down, I guess. Windows updates have been known to just change random settings with no warning. So I may break audio settings. Oh, Windows update. It seems like every second or third Windows update screws with audio settings, I swear. Do this driving cab because I don't want to see the deer falling off. Also, the mirrors on this don't work, seemingly. Unless it's my graphics settings. Which I can't change in game. I'm hoping it's that the mirrors in this don't work, not that I've screwed my graphics settings up. Both are equally possible. I'm just hoping it's the non-working mirrors thing. What Windows system do I have? 10. Windows 10 on PC, Windows 10 on a little laptop. And the PC, I think, has night mode enabled just constantly because of the red filter, and that helps me see. Don't know why, but it does. I also, for extreme cases, have a pair of sunglasses on my desk that I'll likely never wear during a stream, but they have orange lenses, and that that cuts out all of the blue light from the screen. Gives it a very orange tint because, you know, orange lenses and whatnot. But does help my eyesight. I'm doing good, Brennan. How are you? What did I hit? Oh. I hit that. So technically, according to the rules, I need to fast forward time, but that'll lose me, like, all of the bales. Do I have, like... Please tell me I've got a field set up of, like, oats or something. So... I don't have any fields that would get me straw. I mean, the rules say that I'm only allowed to work until 5 PM. So... Blue light's the one that puts stress on the eyes. Yes, it is. You can't... I can't tell you that and not show you. I mean, I can show you. I've worn these on stream in the past. But they're very, very orange sunglasses. Like, if I do that, it might rebalance the color. But you can see it's quite an orange tint that everything gets. But they do work for, like, chilling my eyes out a bit. Just sit through night here. There's the rain. Right, how bad are we with the bales now? The bales are deteriorating. That is not good. Are the mini bales deteriorating? Yes, that is good. But I need to try and rescue as many of the round bales as I can. And it's probably going to end up that I just end up with a trailer load of round bales. Will there be a shut-off point on Friday to get into the MP server? Nope. I don't do that because it'll end up with the server being empty by the end of the stream. But I will likely do MP on Friday. Bear in mind, Friday is just whatever the hell I feel like, so I might change my mind between now and then. Don't fully expect MP. Expect a stream, but don't expect it to be anything in particular. Do you know what? I'm going to, just because it's raining, allow force majeure of grabbing this. You haven't heard issues with it being enabled, Dowler, because people generally don't have cheat mode enabled. I did actually rent the right one, didn't I? Yes. Just to speed things up here and so that I'm not spending a calf stream, I'm also going to get it delivered. Screw the rules. Because it's going to cost a fortune to have this rented anyway. Oh, and I need to refuel this thing. Let's be smart here and refuel the deer before I do anything else, because I'll forget otherwise. There we go. Windows updates can configure. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, Liam, I'm not jealous of you one bit. Special delivery service. Well, I'm just glad it's not the Dave delivery service, because that would end up with everything backwards and somehow upside down. I mean, UPS would result in it being smashed through a window somewhere. Or is that FedEx? I can't... Was it UPS or FedEx are known for throwing things through windows? Or is it both of them? I know there's some delivery service that just keeps throwing things through open windows. And I was like, why do you do this? That is not what people expect from a courier. At all. Ever. How are you able to do this and still have a job? Is it FedEx? I think UPS do it sometimes as well. The UPS person's really nice. I don't know my UPS guy. Which is comical because, like, we constantly get parcels because my sister will not stop buying things on wish.com. What type of misery? Funnily enough, the guys that deliver to us are always quite pleasant. I think it's because, like, when I answer the door, I'm just like, hey, things. An item, what was ordered, possibly by me, possibly not, probably by my sister, on wish.com. She has a weird fascination with buying Chinese tat. I feel like this is going a lot faster than it would have done if I manually stacked these bales. But, seeing as it's raining and I do need to get these bales in as quickly as possible, I feel like it's not overly cheaty to, try and save them. They might be beyond saving already, but Chinese. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, Chinese tat is amazingly bad. Like, it's worth buying almost for how bad it is, but I wouldn't go out of my way to just keep buying it. Especially if it's things that I need. Like, if I need something and I want to use it, I'll buy something that is value for money. Yeah, I'll go with value for money over just plain cheap. See if they'll sponsor me. Nobody will sponsor me. I've got nowhere near the reach that I would need to actually get some sort of sponsorship deal in place. As amazing as it'd be. I mean, as things stand, the channel's basically sponsored by Jag. Who I'm sure is very happy that the 980 is going to be in Platinum. Because I'm pretty happy that the 980 is going to be in Platinum. Alright, let's get what remains of these bales, and hopefully it's a good amount over to the sheds. I haven't figured out a shed for bales yet. That's mildly problematic. 10 euro maybe fuse guy. I mean, I'd do that, to be fair. I'd want to make thieves think that the cheap item that I have that looks like an iPhone is an iPhone, so that they try and steal that instead of stealing my actual phone. That's just being smart, honestly. Right. Need to figure out what the hell to do with these bales. Will they fit into one of these slots? No. They will surely fit into one of these over here, though. Hopefully Jack doesn't do anything crazy. I think he'll be too happy to do anything particularly crazy. The bales shouldn't fit into this shed here, right? Because I can restack these later. It's just a case of trying to get them in out of the rain first. Just so they have a fighting chance, basically, of not being eaten by seasons. The fact that I can't reverse this damn thing isn't helping. Right. Oh, that's tons of room. It's doing the thing where it derps everything up, but I'm kind of fine with that. It's Shibson from China. The quality was very good. I have in the attic, and it's not the same thing. Because it's an official knockoff. I have a knockoff Stratocaster that is actually a Stratocaster. It's by Squire, S-Q-U-I-E-R. It's a Fender brand that effectively makes knockoffs. It's kind of their budget line. But I do have, I have a legit Stratocaster. It's just not a Fender Stratocaster. It's Squire by Fender. Comically, the amp that came with it was Fender. So the amp was probably actually worth more than the guitar itself. So like if I was to sell one of the two, I'd probably end up selling the amp. I think Chinese is 50-50. I'd say it's 75-25. on the bad versus good scale. You know, 3 out of 4 times you're going to get something that is just terrible. And then you get that one that is actually reasonable quality. Was it a Mexican square? I think it was made in the USA. Yes, I know the tiny square bales aren't supported. They're not supported by bloomin' anything. That's why I want them to die. So I'm so annoyed with them. Yup. This is going surprisingly well. The problem is going to be that all of these bales are going to have different amounts in them now. Come on. I still have field 23 to pick up. But, I mean, I feel like you guys can't complain, because the original plan was to do this all manually, and we'd still be on the first load. Very easily. Quality's okay, but the blade got dull fast. That's, honestly, Alice, that's pretty much 90% of Swiss Army knives. Unless you're willing to spend an exorbitant amount on one, you're gonna end up with one that is steel hard enough to be very, very sharp, but soft enough to just go dull super fast. And same true of basically any penknife. Which was particularly annoying when I was in Scouts, because we had to cut through sisal, which is what's used on cat scratching posts, and is noted for being particularly resistant to, you know, sharp objects. So you had to have a particularly sharp knife to cut through it. It's also something that, you know, is designed to blunt things, so if you've got a cheap knife and you're cutting through sisal, you're gonna end up not having a very good time. Do I have... Haha. Do 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 do. Have I checked the mod hub today? Yes and no. Like, I saw VF's post about the mod hub, so I'm guessing that's all that went up. I haven't gone about... The thing is, right? True fact here. Legit true fact, not my usual true fact where I make something up and then say true fact after. When I'm doing Insanity, or when I'm planning on doing Insanity, I intentionally don't check the mod hub because there's no point. The whole point of this map and this series is that the equipment is somewhat static. As are the mods, so it's a lot easier for me to do Insanity on any given day because it's just a case of, you know, rock up, start stream, and away we go. There's very little prep work other than, you know, getting a thumbnail, which takes 5-10 minutes. Can I get you in? That'll be good enough. Just want to get you into a shed. I don't care what shed or how you're fitting. As long as you're undercover, that should be okay. We'll get Field 23 now and just lock him up in a different shed entirely. Big downside of it raining. The upside is obviously the crops are getting watered, so we're going to get good yield. Downside is it is going to hold off my hay-making plan just a bit, because I can't make hay when it's raining. Ooh, that's not good weather at all. So let's get over to field 23, clear out the bales from there. I'm doing my best not to waste any bales. I don't see the point in wasting them. I know that I have the teeny tiny square bales that were a test, and the normal size square bales that just didn't work out for reasons of I couldn't be bothered. Is this map seasons ready? Have I tweaked things to make it work? It's seasons ready, right off the bat, Dowler. Every map by Oxy from here on out is going to be seasons ready, on PC at the very least. So if you see an Oxy map, you know straight away it's going to work with seasons. Hey, Spudman. It's the easiest way to like, you know, Oxy's a big fan of seasons, as am I, as is Landy. Oxy gets on reasonably well with the seasons guys. As I've got on with them when I've spoken to them. I've spoken to Rockin' a few times. I intentionally don't go out of my way to talk to him because he's a busy dude. He does an insane amount of work, and he deserves the time. You know, he deserves time to chill. Is Lone Oak out? Not yet. Somebody was saying it failed testing, according to Oxy's Facebook page, so it might be a few weeks yet. But everybody I've spoken to from Seasons, granted I've never spoken to any of them in person. I've spoken to all through Discord and Slack and all. They all, like, there have been some times where I've said things that have not been the smartest, and they've quite rightly slapped me, effectively. Internet slapped me, of course. And by and large, like, it's the biggest issue is language barrier, because in English they're always saying things that aren't very blunt. And when you're learning English, you just learn the blunt ways of saying things. Would you get issues if you use a seasons ready map and don't want to use seasons? You shouldn't. There was one potential issue, actually, with Lone Oak. Specifically if you weren't using the seasons. But I found that while derping. I was derping around on the map not long after getting it. I think not long after doing my first look of it. And I actually found a legit issue with the map, which I then sent to Oxy and said, hey dude, just FYI, this is what happens when you don't run seasons. And it was fixed with it like the same day pretty much. So being blunt is a personal preference. Sometimes I just go all out blunt with people because either it's the best way to say something to them or it's the funniest. Because sometimes being blunt about something is the funniest way to say something. Also, sometimes intentionally telling lies and doing the exact opposite of what you actually want to happen is hilarious. Especially if it enrages somebody who has quite funny flip-outs. Totally not what I do with Rob on a regular basis, and totally not what was going on in the Firefly Funhouse room with the Discord last night. Hey, Seam. How's it going today, dude? Totally not what me and Landy were doing. We were not being mean. Mostly. By the way, for the benefit of the Discord mods, if you see me and Landy and Rob all nattering on in the Firefly Funhouse room, just ignore it. Like, that is fully under my control when that happens. I will take full responsibility for whatever happens in the wrestling room in Discord, because, I mean, that's a room for my own personal interests. Including annoying the crap out of Rob. Right, so that's all the bales that I actually want. Welcome back, Alex. You've already got the room. You should go in and have a look at what was going on in there last night, Yanis. Like, you won't understand most of it, but you can see what you can get the gist of what we were doing. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm working on self-improvement and betterment, and trying to figure out why I'm constantly tired. But other than that, like, good. I spoke to a friend of mine that I've not spoken to in, God, nearly 3 years last night. And the only reason we spoke was because somebody that used to be a mutual friend, and actually the person that introduced us to each other, had apparently a very big falling out. And I haven't spoken to the other person, the former mutual friend, in a bit longer, because I just know. Turns out he had a big argument with the other guy, and yeah, they're no longer friends. He's a bit belligerent, is the guy that is at the crux of all this, and I kind of wasn't surprised by him picking fights with people again. No, I'm not going to name names, but it's somebody who I fell out with in a big way because I made a decision that they didn't like. And they claimed that, oh, you're ruining my reputation. I was just like, dude, you got no reputation. How was my chocolate giant bar flavor bar chocolate? It tasted of, like, chocolate flavored sugar. American chocolate is atrocious. I would say that, Alex, but I'm waking up naturally after like 4 to 6 hours sleep, and honestly, like, after a couple of hours of being awake, I'm fine. Mostly fine. It's just that I don't, like, I get tired at weird times, and I'm wide awake at weird times. Like right now I'm wide awake, and I'll be wide awake until probably 2 in the morning. I'm hoping actually 3, because SmackDown ends at 3. Maybe half 3, because there's the Stone Cold thing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on immediately after SmackDown. I watch legitimate wrestling sources, totally. Well, NXT's on tomorrow night. I might watch NXT tomorrow night. Depends on how I feel. Depends on how angry I am after SmackDown. My body clock is all messed up. Comically, it's all messed up compared to usual, because it used to be the case that I wouldn't get tired until about 6 in the morning. It's starting to, like, write itself into something that is believably human. And it's just a case of making that a habit as opposed to an aberration, which it currently is. Right, that's all the bales collected up. I'll just send that back because I have no need for it now. And here's where the problems come in, because, like, I think I will, even though it's raining, we'll grab the plow. Deep sleep. Yeah, I think it could be linked to temperatures as well, because my room gets quite warm when I've got my PC on and I've been playing games and stuff. And Google Chrome taking up like 100% CPU power isn't helping. So, you know, there's a few things that I need to rectify on my end. And that's what Saturdays are for now. The reason I take the Saturdays off is number one, so that I can get a bit of work done on El Lapo Topo, or maybe in Photoshop, for various things. And number two, so that I can just kind of do a random task that keeps me on top of things. I think this week's random task is going to be sorting out whatever the hell is going on under my desk, because I genuinely have no idea. When's MP? I'm thinking Friday at the moment, Pa. I could do it Thursday, I guess. Like, Thursday is effectively just a freeform farm sim stream. I could do MP on Thursday. The only reason I didn't do it yesterday is because I felt really sick. Like, I was in a state, and I don't know if you guys get this, where like, your stomach is just turning weird, and it feels like you're about to vomit. Constantly. And it's just not fun at all, and that's what I was dealing with. I should really grab a notebook real quick and just write down what the fields actually have in them right now. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that right now, because I have a notebook here and there's pens over there. My room is oddly tidy and organized, and it's kind of scary because I know where things are. No, that blue pen is a bit dodgy. Black pen. Right. So, apologies for a second while I just write down what fields have what. What fields do we have? 20... Is it 23, 27, 30, and 31? 23, 27, 29, 30, 31 are the ones that I care about. So, 23 is wheat. 27 is sunflower. Oh, that is a... 29 is... That looks like canola. But it could be soybeans. I'm gonna say that's probably soybeans. But I'm gonna write down both. Uh, 30 is definitely corn. And 31 was oat. There we go. Hey, Tractor Games. Sorry about the slight just break there. I had to write down what was in the fields so that I could get the crop rotation running properly. What date is it today? Just so that I can date that note. 17th of September. 17, 9, 19. Has this been released yet? Not yet. Oxy is doing his damnedest to get it up on the mod hub. I think it's failed at least once, I believe. Possibly twice. And every time it fails, he just fixes up whatever Giants say is wrong and sends it back. All that I can ask is... All that I can ask on his behalf is that you are patient. And just give him and Giants the time to get everything sorted with the map so that it's as good as possible when it does come out. You really want to play a good American map. This is a good American map. Who knows? knows, Ernie? There might be a like really good American map right out in the meantime. Landy's playing this map off camera. Landy's playing a chill game on Lonoke, as far as I'm aware. I don't want a chill game in Farm Sim. I'm gonna be honest. I find it very hard to relax a Farm Sim anymore. Like X-Plane is amazing for chilling because I can do other things while doing it. Hopefully soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. If it goes into the back of the full queue, it's going to be like 3 weeks. I would hope that Giants give it a bit of an expedited test, because it is just going to be a retest. I would hope the Giants are kind of speeding the retests through, because it honestly makes sense for them to do that. They're easier. City Skylines is a chill game? Well, Crusader Kings is another one that I chill with. Like, I've got a few that I just sit down and chill with. X-Plane's a great one, because, like, I can literally just sit back and relax while playing it. Although, one thing that I do note, that is gonna potentially change my gaming habits and change the way that X-Plane streams work, is the new audio codec for VATSIM is apparently being released before Cross the Pond, which is next month. I've heard rumors and whispers and murmurings that audio for VATSIM will be out by Cross the Pond, which would be very good. It's all but been confirmed that it'll be out before World Flight, so I might do a couple of legs of World Flight and suffer through the pain of an hour's delay in an airport. Because, yeah, World Flight is hundreds of planes trying to leave inappropriately small airports. And I think it'd be kind of comical if I brought a 747, because the main plane that I'll be following is a 747. Though I could, in theory, use a 737 MAX. I do know where to find one. But, yeah, here's the thing, though. Because I've gone completely just off topic here. Chill games are going to be down to whoever's playing them. Like, I can say, oh, the best chill game is this game, and you know, you could absolutely hate it. There's no point in me saying, oh, the best chill game is, you know, Crusader Kings, because, well, what if you hate strategy games? You're screwed. What if what if I say, oh, the best chill game is Mountain Blade? Well, if you hate RPGs, then you're screwed. If I say it's City Skylines, if you don't like city builders and that kind of thing, you're screwed. You know, your chill games is, of course, and mine was for a bit. I've kind of moved away from the racing games of late. Mainly because I can't be bothered sitting on my wheel just to play some games. I can't justify having my wheel set up permanently. I can't justify taking it up and putting it back down constantly. Or putting it up and taking it back down constantly, so I just don't really play all that many racing games all that too much anymore. But, you know, everybody's gonna have a different chill game. And it's kind of interesting to see what different people chill with, because I know some people chill with, like, these really hardcore first-person shooters that I'm just like, I just genuinely don't find enjoyable at all. And I, to a certain extent, having watched people play them, don't understand how people enjoy them. Because I have a friend that I lived with in college for a couple of years. Hey, Leinster Farmer. I have a friend that I lived with in college for a couple of years. He was a big Call of Duty fan. And almost every time he played Call of Duty, I would hear from across the house we were renting, I would hear a controller being thrown at his wall as he raged again. I was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, you're clearly not having fun. Like, I don't understand why people would stress themselves out in a game that's supposed to be chilling in. Just beyond me. Then again, I used to play StarCraft, which is just constant stress and thinking, so... I maybe don't have much of a case there. By the way, this plow is really good. Your chill game is FS19. I find it very hard to chill with FS19 now, Simman. I honestly... This is why the videos have kind of gone off the face of the earth. I find it hard to play Farm Sim without having a chat open. And having, like, something to talk about. It's very difficult for me to switch off from YouTuber mode with Farm Sim. So I don't... I can't chill with it, I just can't. You know, a lot of the other games that I play, that you'll spot me playing off camera, they're my chill games. I'll just hop into them for a couple of hours and be like, yes, I have game-ed today. In terms of X-Plane, it's usually like 5 or 6 hours. You'll see me in it for... You'll see me in it at a time because I've decided to do something stupid. Or decided to do 2 or 3 flights back to back. By the way, actually, while I have all of you guys here, I have come up with an idea for an alteration to the World Tour, and I would like some feedback. And my idea is to drop the GAA aspect of it, for the most part. So, the plan in my mind now is to, where possible, do or recreate commercial flights in between the different cities I want to stop at. Or at least use commercial call signs from that area. So we'll say in America, I could be cheeky, grab a 747, do a UPS flight between 2 cities. Because UPS do actually fly a 747 around America. I could, you know, think the next flight is to Ethiopia, so I could do Ethiopian 737. It would change it up. It would change it up, and would also actually let me get out my full range of planes. Because there's a Saab 340 that I've been kind of keeping in reserve. And I tend to use that as an ATR 72 replacement, because I've got an ATR 72, but it is atrocious. And it's so bad that I don't actually ever want to show it on stream. The problem with the idea of turning it into more commercial flights is that it will just be a lot more, see Alex, the problem with me turning it into commercial flights will be that it'll be a lot more 737 and a lot more Airbus. So it'll be very jet heavy. Because I don't have, at present, Q400-8. I could get one, but the problem I face with that is, and it's not a huge problem. The problem I face with getting a Q400 is that it is going to be outdated very, very soon. Because the guys that made that actually have a new Q400 coming out very soon. It's in development now. It seems to be nearly finished, so I don't want to buy a Dash 8. Well, Dowler, here's the thing, right? The 737 I fly in X-Plane is completely free. That is a cost of 0. So if you want to get into, like, jets, then Zebomod is the way forward for you, because the 737 is, I mean, you see me working it, that's according to real-world 737 pilots, about as close to the real thing as you can get without having to buy a 737. Or get into a simulator. So, you know, if you wanted a good experience with a... Is it Zebo? You've got Zebo? Yeah. Zebo, like, is... If you watch Flight Deck to Sim, he's a 737 captain. He says, yeah, the plane's about as realistic as you can get. Minus a couple of things that you can't really simulate, so... That. I'm trying to think of like more farm sim related things because I'm seeing people dropping off, and I'm really sorry that I'm plowing, which seems to be what's offended some people, and talking about things that aren't farm sim, but I do have other interests. But actually, come to think of it, I'm gonna say that the answer is probably no. Has anybody been to the plowing today? A lot of Flight Deck to Sim. I haven't learned much off him, as silly as it sounds, but I do enjoy his content. Like, he does try and teach a lot. Was anybody at the plowing today? People don't seem to like farming in Farm Sim. This is a constant problem I face. Is like when I do actual farming things, like people want plowing for 5 minutes only, harvesting for 10, silage for 15, and then no spraying ever, no working the fields, seeding for maybe 2 minutes, and it's like, what? No, I've got to get through all this work, and I'm playing with seasons, so, I mean, the upside of plowing now is that this job is now done, and this field is ready to go again. Yeah, this is the end of the field cycle here. He's actually one of the voice options. Yes. He's going over to the UK this week, isn't he? Or he should be in the UK at the moment. It's almost like people want an arcade game and then say that they want realism. People want realistic gameplay in Farm Sim, but they don't want the boring stuff. But in reality, the boring stuff is, 99% of farming. Sitting in a car park waiting to get out of plowing. Yeah, I'm kind of not all that happy with farmers at the moment, especially the beef farmers, because saw on the news today the meat factory in town is shut down because of the whole protests thing. And I'm all for farmers making money, but there are now 355 people out of work in my town because the farmers who keep getting grants and stuff and just free money for maybe doing 3 things are complaining that the beef prices aren't high enough and they're not getting enough money. Well, maybe if they ran their businesses correctly and learned modern farming practices instead of just my dad did this for 73 years, therefore it's correct. Well, yeah, but it's not the way that is most efficient. Maybe if they learned that kind of stuff, then they'd actually be able to make money out of the cattle. which I know is a very unpopular thing to say in a farming. Farmers love to moan. It's like their favorite thing. Good weather, oh, it's too dry. Rainy weather, it's too wet. Cold weather, it's too cold. Mild weather, it's too mild. I don't like it. I'm pretty sure the farmers at nighttime say it's too dark. And on a Tuesday say they just don't like the letter T. Any sim streams pretty repetitive. ETS to drive, point A to B, flight sim. Flight sim's the worst, because like the only two interesting bits really are takeoff and landing. I'm gonna be honest. As somebody who enjoys watching flight sim streams, the only really interesting bits are takeoff and landing. Market pricing can be affected from things outside of control in other parts of the world. Yes, and the Irish farmers have been, the meat factories here have been paying the going rate in Europe. The farmers are saying, no, we want more money. Well, I mean, if you want more money, you've got two options. One, don't sell your meat to them and try and find a better price elsewhere. Two, maybe look at cutting costs on your end. If you're not making enough money, you're spending too much. This is like, it's something that's always irked me, is that farmers, by and large, I'm not going to say all farmers, but by and large, and it's kind of the mob mentality that does this, want everything to be the same way that it was 30 years ago constantly, but also make more money year on year every time. Like they want to have their cake and eat it too, and it's just not how anything works. They need to modernize, and they need to like figure out how to run their farms as businesses instead of just. I feel like some of them almost see farming as a hobby that they make money out of. And this is coming from somebody who has worked with farmers in the past. I've spoken about it a few times. I used to work in a lab that did agri-tests. Did testing of cattle for a viral disease that is pretty nasty. To the point where if there was a fail, the cow had to be put down, and the herd had to be isolated and stuff, and the mother had to be isolated from the herd, and the cattle, it just many headaches for the farmers, and I can get them being angry with that because it is headaches. But at the same time, the amount of people that, not necessarily I rang up, but everybody in the lab rang up, that didn't even bother stopping the tractor. Or didn't get the whole point of, sure, you gotta pay for these tests, but it's a nominal fee. I think it was something like €4.50 per test. €4 if you're part of certain marts that the lab instruct deals with. And they thought it was just some money-making scheme and not a case of trying to literally eradicate a disease that does kill cattle quite a lot. And it got to the point where some of them, the more complainy people, the people that I think lead these mobs that complain about everything, where we literally had to say, well, you don't have to get your herd tested. Just know that it will affect every single grant that you get. Because It would have. It was a mandatory system. They would have been excluded from literally every grant had they refused. And then there were some farmers, and I'm, you know, where I've just complained, I'm gonna give props to. There were some farmers where we rang them to tell them about a failure, and the first question is out of their mouth was, "Okay, what happens now? What happens now? What is there something I can do? Can I? What do I need to do here? Is there something that I can do to fix this? How can I stop this from happening?" And those were the guys that I loved, because they knew that changes need to be made. They knew that farming is all about changing constantly. Whether it's buying new equipment or just embracing new methods or whatever, it's not something that you can say, well, my dad did this 30 years ago and I'm going to do it the same way because that's the way that I know. It's not like that anymore. It was like that for a hell of a long time, hundreds of years. But, you know, now it's changing because we're figuring a lot more out about the way things work. And the guys that went out of their way to ask us a few questions, because a part of the job was to know what the disease was and what it did. You know, so that if needed, it was needed occasionally, we could explain what it meant to the farmer, to the animal in question, what it meant for the herd as a whole, what the next steps were, and it was 100% their choice. They could do retests. It wasn't a case of, like, you failed, it's done forever. They could opt for retests, but we gave them some advice on, just in case it is a true positive, just isolate and just keep the mother and the calf away from everything else. Because, like, it was one of those situations where, like, we wanted to help. We weren't out there to, well, like, obviously we were working on, you know, for a company doing the tests, so there was the making money bit of it too, but, like, the aim was actually animal welfare. That was the entire aim of the scheme that was being run. And, it stunned me that so many farmers just didn't care about the animals. It stunned me that so many farmers were just cared about the money that the animals brought in. They saw the animals as banks and as ways to make money, and it was kind of disheartening to me in a way, because, like, their entire job would have revolved around these animals, and they just see the animals as walking piggy banks. Because they got really angry when they had to put a calf down, because, well, that's money going out the window. Well, yeah, but there's more money going out the window and half your herd's dead. Or when next year, you know, half of your calf herd is gone because you didn't mitigate against the problem in the first place, and it's got worse because you didn't care. New eggs come in almost every year, so yeah, exactly. That's it, Mexican. Like, the funny thing was, I kind of felt like I cared more about the animals than some of the farmers did. Not all of them. I'm not gonna tar them all with one brush. I would say most did care more. I know most of them did genuinely care about the animals, but the ones, oddly enough, the ones that usually had positives were the ones that just kind of saw the cows as checkbooks, and it was a bit disheartening. Especially seeing as like our entire job was like, it's all for animal welfare reasons. Because the disease we were testing for was incredibly cruel to the animals, the way that it worked. So for a farmer to say that, no, I don't want to double check, I also don't want to put the animal down, well, if it is true positive, then your animal's going to suffer horrifically for the next few weeks. Plant wildflowers on the headlands in your arbor farm mead that helps the yield. That makes sense, actually. And obviously it does work great for bees and wildlife as well. Leinster farmer, if you've got, like... I'm not going to say you definitely need to do this. I'd be interested in an experiment on that, kind of along those lines. If you have like a small field that you use as a test plot or something, or as a test field, that's it. Yes, yeah. If you have a field that you use as a test field, don't plant wildflowers. Just leave whatever grows naturally grow there. I get the feeling you might get even better yield like that. Because planting things intentionally, you're never going to get as dense as nature will. Obviously the risk you run with leaving it grow wild, fully wild instead of just planting wildflowers, is that you'll get wildlife that's going to eat some of your crop. So it's a double-edged sword going at the full natural method there, but I feel like logically it might actually get you extra yield. Again. It'd be interesting if there's like a field that you could test that out on without running the risk of, you know, financial issues if it doesn't work. Because bees in an area will know and preferentially go to plants that are native to the area. So planting wildflowers sometimes will actually work against you and get the bees away from pollinating and stuff like that. That's why gardens tend to grow so hilariously fast, even though there's no fertilizer used. Is because the bees are used to whatever, like the bees and wasps and bumblebees and whatever pollinators are about. They're used to whatever's in the garden because it's just growing wild, or it's kind of effectively wild growth. Actually, as a second point to what you said, Yanis, about the farmers not caring, it's not entirely that they don't care, it's just that they maybe live next to a farmer that doesn't care, and it was a disease that was easily communicable, mother to child, and like they might have bought her in a cow that was positive, and it just, sometimes it was completely out of their control, sometimes it was just that they thought it was random. Wildflower seed mix is probably made so it works for Larry. I would guess so, but I'd be interested in seeing what happens to the wildflower seed mix versus actual wild growth. Which I would presume has been tested, so I might see if I can find some information on that tonight. If I don't feel like doing actual work. I mean, like that's an interesting thought experiment. That just comes to mind as like, if you're going to use wildflowers, are you better off intentionally seeding some, or just leaving wild natural growth happen? Because obviously wild natural growth is going to cut costs, because you're not having to buy a wildflower seed mix. If the difference between natural wild growth and the wildflower seed mix is negligible in terms of additional yield, well then you're better off just using natural wild growth. Sure, you won't have as much yield, but you'll actually probably make a small bit more money because you're not spending as much on the seed mix. You're not spending any on the seed mix. So the wildflowers are free. It's free yield. That's the way that I'm thinking there. I hope that makes sense. Because that might not make sense the way that I just explained it, but in my mind that makes perfect logical sense as an investigation to do for a cost-benefit analysis almost. Also just for the pure scientific value of it. Because if there's a way that is free, farmers are going to use it. Because as we've been talking about for the last 20 odd minutes, farmers don't like spending money. That is the issue there, yes. Yeah, you could have an invasive natural plant that decides to just become viral effectively. You can't use... Yeah, no, I could see why there's a benefit to using a wildflower seed mix over... Or a potential benefit, at least, to using a wildflower seed mix over actual wildflowers. But I'd still be interested in seeing... And it'd be an area-by-area thing. Be interested in seeing, like, if there are areas of, let's say, Ireland... The cost would actually be quite large, Ennis, because Irish farmers, for some inane reason, I still don't know why, they insist on ploughing their crop fields annually, so they'd have to replant every year. Or at least the ones around me do. I've never understood that. Like every late autumn, actually getting into that time of year now, with the ploughing on, where there's going to be ploughs everywhere out ploughing up the fields because there's been crops in them. I'd find it hard to believe that just a year's work had produced so much compaction in the soil that outside of heavy clay soils they actually would need to be ploughed again. Crazy plants versus farmers. That sounds like a terrible mobile game. I'll buy it. I suppose the big issue with Irish terrain is that there is a lot of clay soils. Like around me, I don't think there is much of a way to avoid planting annually because it is a very heavy clay soil type that we have here, for the most part. Back on the road. Well, enjoy the drive home, Leinster. I'm not a farmer myself, but I'm interested in the numbers aspect to a certain extent. I'm interested in seeing... I'm not even like a botanist, so I'm far outside of my area of expertise. Ideal world. Here's a real thought experiment. Because I don't know if this is even possible. In an ideal world, we would genetically engineer a species of bacteria, a strain of bacteria. Ideally E. coli, because they're super easy to grow in a lab. We genetically engineer a strain of bacteria that you can somehow get it to not touch, we'll say, whatever crop you got in your field. but that it will attack every other item in the field, like any pests, any weeds, anything invasive that you don't want in your field. Where it's attacking only, we'll say, weeds and various pests. But your wheat crop, just for example, is completely untouched by it, and it is in fact fertilized by it attacking the unwanted growth. Now, that would be... I don't know if that would count as being organic, is the issue. I would argue it would be, because it's like natural, except for the bit where it's been genetically engineered to do certain, something specific. But in theory, or in my theory at least, I don't know enough about the composition of wheat versus anything else. I don't know if there's any markers or whatnot that are expressed into the soil by certain plants. But in that theory, you would have to spray your fields once or twice with this bacteria, but you could effectively grow it on the farm. You just have this tank that you could get topped up fairly cheap with agar, just liquid agar, every 2 months. And it'd have to be heated because it'd need to be kept at about 37 Celsius. Maybe a bit colder because you wouldn't want the reproduction to be a maximum rate. You could keep it probably about 30-ish Celsius. You don't want to go too far outside the ideal temperature for E. coli, which is 37. It can be grown on the farm, so you don't even have to buy it once, and then the more consistent income for the manufacturer or person that designs this would actually be agar sales, or nutrient broth sales, whatever you want to call it. And you would end up with potentially more yield, because you wouldn't have any pest issues whatsoever. You wouldn't have any weed issues. You wouldn't have pests. Or you wouldn't have as many pests. It would only be, anything is only so effective. But you would have the weeds turning into natural compost and fertilizer, and fertilizing your crops, so you'd get, it would save on herbicide and fertilizer costs for sure. Now, whether the savings would offset the cost of the nutrient broth and the cost of running all of that stuff is something I can't work out, but it'd be interesting to know if that would even be possible. This is the way that I think. It's like, you can genetically engineer anything to do anything. There's a wild wheat that's a pest, and it's very similar to harvest wheat. Interesting. But the thing is it wouldn't just be specific to wheat. Like, you could come up with different strains to work with different crops. So you could have one that works with canola, one that works with barley, and I mean, if you're genetically engineering bacteria, you might as well genetically engineer the crop to express something into the soil that the bacteria knows not to go near. So you could counter the wild wheat the wild plant that's very similar to the plant that you want to be protecting by just genetically engineering the plant that you want to keep protecting. We should have the anti-GM crowd up in arms, but they're wrong. By the way, is Landy live yet? Because now I'm talking crap about the GM crowd and putting my stance out there that GM is the way forward. GM is ethical. Please allow GM crops. Accept GM crops. They are the way forward. They are the solution to many, many, many problems. And in the long term, they will be cheaper for farmers. And probably solve at least some of the hunger issues that are going on in the world. But because people have it up at 1905 is scheduled? Okay. Get my lab coat on, it sounds like I'm onto something. I mean, I'm just editing a known solution to something else. I mean, the known cure for cancer is a genetically modified virus that attacks cancer markers. Or cells with cancer markers. Other plants that adapt to bacteria, so develop them to be super expensive. You underestimate. You overestimate exactly how much it costs to tweak bacterial DNA. And news on that sick. They're hoping to have some information at Cosford next month. Cosford, I think, is on the 19th, or 19 days. The number 19 is there somewhere. And they're hoping to have like some sort of demo version there, and there was mention of a stream. I don't know if they mean at Cosford, before Cosford, after Cosford. But that's a game I'm definitely interested in. They're also thinking of or the lead dev at least, is thinking of trying to get in contact with Mike Pate, or Mike Patey, as some people call him. I think it's pronounced Pate. And trying to get the rights or arrange some sort of license from him to put a rendition of Draco in. As a tribute to Draco, which unfortunately crashed yesterday because Mike was being a moron. In his own words. I'm not insulting him, he was being an idiot with what he was trying to do. He said so much himself, and play stupid games with stupid prizes. He crashed the plane. It's a write-off. I mean, the going back to the bacterial thing, the bigger problem that I've just realized would be a genuine issue is the bacteria have a much shorter life cycle. Somewhere in the region of a couple of days maximum than the plants would have, so they just start randomly mutating and possibly mutate to be the exact opposite of what you wanted. So my bacterial idea maybe isn't the greatest. Then again, no, they'd be in a wild environment. I was going to say, then again, incidents produced by E. coli, but incidents produced in a controlled environment where they keep track of mutations by doing regular blot tests. Blot tests? Yeah, blots. Just to check for the markers that they want in there. Bear in mind that I've not learned any science. I've not been in a scientific teaching environment for almost 10 years now. It's 8, 9... Is it 8 or 9? 18... 19, 20... 8 or 9 years since I was in college now, in uni. So some of my knowledge is probably wrong. In fact, it's most likely wrong. Somewhere in the region of 10%, maybe 15% of what I learned in college was wrong already. I just don't know what it is. In any case, I think I'm going to leave it here because I have noticed that people are dropping away. Landy should be starting soon. If he's not, shout at him that he's late. I'll be back tomorrow with some Oakfield, probably. And in the meantime, you guys can watch Landy, who is on literally a map. I'll catch you guys then. Until then, stay safe. And then, goodbye.